If you're thinking about moving to Chattanooga, Tennessee, and you're looking for a place that blends affordability, natural beauty, and a welcoming community, then Soddy-Daisy just might be the perfect place for you. A lot of people, even locals to the Chattanooga area, think that Soddy-Daisy is just a small little corner of Chattanooga, but it's actually quite an expanded area. It's nestled in nature, with part of it being up on the Cumberland Plateau and then part of it being down along the Chickamauga Lake. Because of 27, you can get to downtown Chattanooga relatively quick from Soddy-Daisy. In fact, it can take as little as 20 to 25 minutes to get from Soddy-Daisy to downtown Chattanooga. So in this video, we're going to take a look at the general overview of Soddy-Daisy, and we'll explain what makes this community so special. So let's jump into the video. In the first segment here, I want to talk a little bit about the history of Soddy-Daisy because it's really kind of unique. It's not a town that appeared overnight. Back in 1969, you had two towns, Soddy to the north and Daisy to the south. These two towns decided to merge in April of 1969 along US Route 27. A little bit about the name. It's thought that the word Soddy has its roots in a Cherokee word meaning sipping place. This actually makes sense because there are a lot of creeks and streams with beautiful water that are flowing through the Soddy-Daisy area. The name Daisy almost undoubtedly traces back to Daisy Parks, the daughter of the founder of the Daisy Coal Company. Earlier this year, my wife and I had our first daughter, and I could definitely see myself naming something after her. Be great to name a town after her, that'd be cool. At any rate, Soddy-Daisy has deep roots that go way back. In fact, it actually hosted Hamilton County's first courthouse. It was an important location on the Trail of Tears, and in the late 1800s, it actually was a booming coal town. I think today what defines Soddy-Daisy is that it has this suburban rural mix. It really is a homey place with a tight-knit community. A lot of neighbors know each other by name. When you're walking around local businesses, it seems like people know each other, and from what I've seen, newcomers feel at home there pretty quick. In this next segment, I want to talk a bit about affordability and real estate in Soddy-Daisy. If you're thinking about moving to Soddy-Daisy, this is one of the most important factors. And for a long time, this area has been one of Chattanooga's best kept secrets for its affordability. The cost of living here is actually pretty fantastic. It sits about 14% below the national average in the United States. As of early to mid 2025, the average home sale price was just between $357,000 and $359,000, depending on the source that you look at. Now, I'll go ahead and say it. In Soddy-Daisy, if you're looking in the mid $300,000 range, you're going to be able to buy a lot more than you would be able to downtown Chattanooga. In the mid 300s downtown Chattanooga, you're looking at probably a townhome, maybe 2-bedroom, maybe 3 if you're lucky. But in Soddy-Daisy, you could get a single family home, perhaps with some acreage, in that price range. There's also a really wide range of housing variety. For example, you've got lakeside living, and the variety in lake homes is actually quite significant too. You've got ranch homes along the Chickamauga Lake or along Soddy Lake, and then you've got larger estates, perhaps even mansions on the lake up there. And a lot of these homes feature private docks, which is fantastic. Up on Mowbray Mountain, there are tons of homes with great views, and then there are other homes on a golf course up there actually. In addition, Soddy-Daisy is seeing a lot of new construction, so you have builders like D.R. Horton, Green Tech Homes, and I believe there are a few other new construction communities currently going in that are offering affordable housing from the low 300s. A term that kept coming to mind when doing the research for this video is lifestyle arbitrage. So you can live this lifestyle with great access to the lake or to the mountains, but not pay the price that you would to have that kind of access downtown Chattanooga. Quick pause. If you're moving to Chattanooga, don't wing it. I give viewers of this channel a free 30-minute Chattanooga relocation call. You'll get the top 3 neighborhoods that are fit for your budget and lifestyle, a clear buying timeline, and a step-by-step relocation checklist. Just this year, I've personally helped 6 families relocate to Chattanooga. Plus, I've helped with several local moves, and I'm backed by Keller Williams with the Wendy Dixon team, one of Chattanooga's top-rated real estate teams with 74 5-star reviews. So click the link in the description or scan this QR code and book a time today. It takes less than 60 seconds. On the call, we'll map out your best fit areas and next steps. And if I can't help, then I'll point you to the right resources. No pressure. I've got a few slots open each week for viewers. When they're gone, they're gone. Tap the link below now and book your free relocation call. In this next segment, I want to talk about the outdoors and things to do in the outdoors in Soddy-Daisy. So probably the number one thing that comes to mind when I think about outdoor activities up that way is the Chickamauga Lake or Soddy Lake. Soddy Lake is actually a small lake that is part of the Chickamauga Lake. So if you were to purchase a home on Soddy Lake, you will still be able to get out to Chickamauga Lake from Soddy Lake. This area is huge for boating, kayaking, fishing. People love to get out and experience the lake life in Soddy-Daisy. There are two really great marinas up there. You've got Pine Harbor and Harbor Lights marinas. They are both really large. I would say that Harbor Lights is quite a bit bigger. There's also a fantastic restaurant there, Zoe's. They do Mediterranean food and it's really, really good. The next outdoor component of Soddy-Daisy that comes to mind are the trails and views. So for serious hikers, you've got the Cumberland Trail that runs through Soddy-Daisy. Great access to plenty of other trails and areas where you can go walk. My personal favorite place to go in Soddy-Daisy is the Big Soddy Creek Gulf. It's this 285-acre wilderness area, and it's absolutely gorgeous. There's this like weirdly blue water in the creek. It's crystal clear. And so I love to go up there in the summer, preferably early in the morning before people start to get out there because it can get a little bit crowded. This place is not a well-kept secret anymore. So people like to go there and cliff jump off some of the large rocks in the area because it's just such a beautiful place to go swim and cool down. You've got this fresh, crystal clear water flowing down from the mountains, and it is a wonderful place to spend a day. And for any rock climbers out there, there is actually an amazing place to go rock climb and boulder called Stone Fort. It's also known as the Little Rock City. If you're familiar with Chattanooga, then you may have heard of Rock City. It's a very popular tourist attraction around here. So Soddy-Daisy has its own version of that, but it's really centered around climbing and bouldering. What's interesting about this place is it's actually right alongside a really beautiful and scenic golf course. This course is called the Mont Lake Golf Club. It's absolutely beautiful up there. Some of the holes have great views, and there's a lot of really challenging water features. So if you like golf or if you like rock climbing, those are both things to check out. Finally, when it comes to the outdoors, let's talk about some of the parks and recreation in the Soddy-Daisy area. Probably first and foremost, there is the Veterans Park. Veterans Park is centrally located along Dayton Pike, and it is a great community space. There are 2 full-size basketball courts, there are pickleball courts, tennis courts, there's a large pavilion where you could have a picnic, there is also a dog park, there are ball fields, and there is a nice little walking track. There's even a playground. It's just such a great place to get out and enjoy the outdoors and experience some recreation with friends or family. There's a couple of other parks. For example, you've got Holly Park that has a boat ramp and a great area to do some fishing. And then over by the historic Poe's Tavern, there's actually another playground back behind that, and they do community events like farmers markets and whatnot there. Okay, now that we've covered outdoors, I want to pivot to the next section where we'll talk about daily life and kind of the economics of living in Soddy-Daisy. So when it comes to convenience, Dayton Pike is kind of your main hub for groceries and for access to your daily essentials. There's a Walmart there. There's also a Food City, so you've got close access to those things. If you need access to more niche items or chain restaurants, then Hixson is just about 15 minutes away. There they've got a Target, they have Publix, there are all kinds of more niche stores where you can buy just about anything you need that's commonly sold at a retail big box store. Soddy-Daisy does have some great local hidden gems when it comes to food though. For example, you've got Dahlia's Mexican, which is supposedly some of the best Tex-Mex in the area. You've got Wimby's Country Restaurant, there's Rico's Pizzeria. Up at the Pine Harbor Marina, you've got Steve's Landing Waterfront Grill. I've heard great things about the food and I have not been there yet. And then over at the Harbor Lights Marina, you have Zoe's, which I think I previously mentioned, but they've got great Mediterranean food and a bit of a fusion. You can really get a lot of things at Zoe's. In terms of where most people work that live in Soddy-Daisy, I've noticed that a lot of people work remote that live out there. And if they don't work remote, then they probably commute to Chattanooga. Now, commute times can range anywhere from 20 minutes on the short end all the way up to 45 depending on traffic and where you live. So that would be something to look at if you're considering a home in that area. If you do have to make a commute, then I would actually trial drive that commute a couple of times if possible before you purchase the home. If you've got experience with nuclear energy, very close by to Soddy-Daisy is the Sequoia nuclear plant. run by the Tennessee Valley Authority. So that could be a potential employer. I know they employ a lot of people out there. There's also a local emergency room that I believe is run by Park Ridge. And so there are some opportunities for work in Soddy-Daisy itself. But again, that would be something to look into if working close to home is really important to you. Okay, so that wraps up the section on daily life and kind of the amenities that you'll find in Soddy-Daisy. Next, I want to talk about community and some of the things that are there for the family. There are a number of well-rated public schools in Soddy-Daisy. If you want to know specifics on those ratings, go ahead and check out greatschools.org, where you can get all of the relevant information on those schools and their ratings. One of the major employers in the Chattanooga area is Volkswagen, and Volkswagen actually has VW e-labs in a lot of the public schools in the Soddy-Daisy area, meaning that kids have the opportunity to get hands-on with 3D printing and various engineering concepts. So I definitely recommend checking that out and looking into that. Soddy-Daisy also hosts a bunch of different events. For example, there is a fall festival every year. There's also an Independence Day celebration out on Soddy Lake. Between May and October, you have farmers markets at the historic Poe's Tavern area. There's also the community-run Soddy-Daisy Library, and every time I drive by this building, I'm really impressed by the number of vehicles there. It seems like a very active spot for the community. They host programs ranging from story time for kids all the way to ukulele lessons. So if you have always wanted to learn the ukulele, now's your chance. So that's a quick overview of Soddy-Daisy, Tennessee. I think this area could be right for families looking for a little bit more space, or for professionals looking for peace and quiet at home and still a relatively convenient commute to downtown, or retirees focused on relaxation and enjoying either golf or lake-based activities. If you found this video helpful, YouTube thinks you might like some of these here. I make a lot of content on what it's like to live in the greater Chattanooga area, so go ahead and check those out. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.